Good morning, Steelworkers. I want to give a little special shout out to the Canadian delegates that are here, so thank you for joining us. I want to start by thanking a few people: the International Health and Safety staff, the Canadian National Office staff, and the amazing facilitators for this week that will make the workshops amazing and have put in a lot of work and effort to get us to this point. And last but not least are all the people that work behind the scenes to make this great event happen. So again, thank you to all of you for allowing us to come in and make this event happen. As mentioned, I'm a product of the Rubber Workers Steelworker merger in 1995. And so in the early 80s, I got a job at a B.F. Goodrich tire plant, and it's kind of where I cut my teeth. And in the industry, in Canada especially, I don't know about the U.S., but in Canada, the industry was full of toxic chemicals, lack of PPE, and lack of government legislation that would force employers to inform the employees, our members, of the products, the chemicals they were using and inhaling each day. So one of my personal experiences I was a tire builder. And anybody that built tires, there was this magical product we all referred to as gas. And this gas product that was right by your machine, if the rubber was too dry, you took a swab and you splashed it on to make the rubber more sticky. If you wanted to tear apart a tire in tire repair, you use this product called gas. And most importantly, before lunch, at the end of the shift, you'd wash your hands in it. You would dunk a rag in it, clean your face, clean your hands, and head to lunch. Well, years later in Canada, when we won the victory for workers to have the right to know, WHMIS, and the right to protect legislation, we discovered that the employer's hand cleaner we referred to as gas was actually benzene. We were cleaning our hands and washing our face in benzene before lunch. So this is just one example of the many toxic chemicals in the tire sector in Canada during those days. Many of our members contacted serious illness and disease. Many are still suffering today. Many died in various types of cancers at alarming rates, leaving behind widows, children who have not yet been compensated by Canada's Workers' Compensation Board. In order to fight that injustice, in order to fight for our members, for their widowers, for their children, the benefits that they so rightly deserve that they were denied by WSIB, we held an occupational disease clinic, intake clinic, with our members at OCAL, who in Ontario are experts in occupational disease and health. The purpose of the intake clinic was to help identify the history, the chemicals, the documents that would expose the industry and make the causal relationship between the workers' history working with toxic chemicals and their later in life disease and a lot of cancers. And I'm proud to say we were successful at many of the claims. Not all. Many of them are still in the appeals process. We continue to work closely with OCAL to identify the evidence that will make us successful in those claims as well. Steelworkers in Canada have a long history of defending our members, families, and defending around occupational disease. We know there's workplace death, but there's also occupational disease. And we have a history of our Algoma Steel Clinic, our Rubber Workers Clinic, the McIntyre Powder Clinic, the newly Nylon Casting Clinic. So we continue to not only, we'll talk a bit about the workplace deaths that currently go on, but we continue to do clinics to help the folks that have been exposed to occupational disease, our members and their families, and that's what makes the Steelworker Union so strong. Also, I want to mention, I'll start by mentioning we have two national campaigns in Canada right now coming out of the the Canadian National Office and the Safety Committee, the Raising the Bar on Women's Health and Safety. It has been an amazing campaign, and it's looking at health and safety through a woman's lens. The Canadian National Women's Committee, the Canadian National Health and Safety came together to create an excellent women's health and safety resource document. It's a great document for local unions, health and safety committees, for local unions that are going into bargaining, for women, and for our staff and safety activists. You're going to hear more about it this week, but I just can't say enough about the game changer it's been when we focus on women's health and safety in the workplace. You know, the fight never ends for workers' lives in workplaces. In Canada, we still kill. The employers still kill approximately 1,000 workers a year on the job. Our campaign, Stop the Killing, Enforce the Law, says if employers are found to be criminally negligent of death of a worker, there must be consequences. Kill a worker, go to jail. And through that campaign, we can continue to demand that the courts and the police and the prosecutors look at a workplace death as a criminal scene through the criminal lens. Because it was the Steelworkers Union in 1992 that got the Westray Law passed. The Westray Law came out of mining disaster, which is written to hold employers who are criminally negligent to account up to going to jail. So it should be simple. As I said before, kill a worker, criminal negligence, go to jail. I want to share with you two current employers that have resulted in our members' deaths. The first is a place called National Steel Car. We've had 3 workers that were killed in the last 21 months. Fraser Cohen died on September 2nd, 2020. Colin Grayley on April 23rd, 2021. And Quank Lee died June 6th, 2022. That equates to 1 death every 7 months. A deplorable employer, no regard to health and safety and workers, profit and production demands over health and safety. Currently, the police in Hamilton are actively investigating the potential criminality in these workers' deaths, and we are optimistic that the police will lay charges of negligence causing death, so that those CEOs, those managers who are responsible to ensure the health and safety of our members, their employees, will be held accountable. I want to also mention Director Sullivan, Frank Crowder, who I've seen here, the president of the local, and his crew and the local leadership, who have been screaming at the top of the hills, drawing tons of attention, media attention, Hamilton politician attention, about the Ontario government regarding their lack of enforcement of the Health and Safety Act. They now have, through their hard work, they now have the Ministry of Labour assigning a full-time inspector to National Steel Car, bi-weekly inspections by the ministry, as well as the Ministry of Labour attending their joint health and safety meetings. Since then, over 300 plus orders have been written so far. Again, I want to give a huge shout out to Local 7135's Executive Health and Safety Committee for the dedication and commitment to improve the health and safety of the environment, but also to bring the employer and get justice for our members. The second current one I want to share with you, because as Tom said, it's not something we can turn off and on. Health and safety is a fight from the beginning of times to today, and we can never back down. The second one, on September 3rd, 2023, at the Come By Chance Oil refinery in Newfoundland, there was an explosion which seriously injured 10 workers and one death of a worker. Sean Peddle, 47 years old, suffered serious burns and critical injuries. He was hospitalized for 6 weeks with his family by his side and not knowing if he would live another day. Sean held on. Sean held on for 6 weeks and eventually succumbed to his injuries. He leaves behind a wife, kids, parents, and siblings. And I seen Glenn here, President Glenn Nolan and Local 9316 with the district office have been working relentlessly, demanding the Newfoundland government conduct a public inquiry how that happened. We want a public inquiry, we want the answers. We also don't want it to happen again. And we also want to hold those responsible and accountable for their actions. Steelworkers met with the RCMP in Newfoundland and insisted the investigation take place under the legislation, the Westray Law, C-45. To their credit, 2 days after meeting with the RCMP, the police stormed the refinery, served warrants, took computers, classified information, and documents. And to their credit, the RCMP are currently investigating the explosion through the criminal lens of the Westray Law. So that's great news. And in closing, I just want to thank everybody. Again, I was trying to express the disease that creeps up on us and we take for granted and we suffer later in life, the work that everybody does in this room, or many of you do in this room on occupational disease. You shouldn't have to retire and die or have health problems due to your workplace. And then the next issue, the need to hold employers accountable for the too many deaths. One death is too many deaths that take place each and every day in workplaces. So I do want to thank each and every one of you for what you do in the workplace, keeping our members safe, and also in the community. I'll end with this. Ask you to never back down, never stop demanding more, never stop fighting for enforcement, and never stop being a USW health and safety activist. Have a great conference. Thank you very much.